Hey guys, lepedaler back with another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at Giant's new TCR lineup for their road bikes for the 2021 year, and they've actually improved the geometry for their TCRs. So we're going to take a look at that right now. So for the people that want to know quickly what has changed going forward with the 2021 TCRs, I made a list of changes and we're going to get into that right now. So for the TCR Advanced SL disc frame, which is the lightest frame set that Giant offers, SL stands for super light. They're claiming 765 grams, which is an improvement from what they had previously in the 2020 models, which were around 830-ish grams. So good improvement, and that's why they claim the stiffness to weight ratio is the best in its class. Now that is all according to Giant, and a lot of these facts are according to Giant, so take that as you will. Now it has something very interesting in terms of the shapes of the down tubes and the tubing on the bike of the frame. So Giant has something called truncated ellipse tube profiles, which improve aerodynamics. So it's a more roundish shape. I'm going to be going in depth in this video and showing pictures of all the different TCRs. So if you guys want to stick around for that, I highly suggest it, because I'm going to go in details of what all these improvements look like. Now, it's 34 seconds faster than previous bikes over a distance of 40 kilometers at 200 watts. Now, this is very standard when a company releases a new bike. You would hope that they would be improving it and the efficiency of it, so that's good to see. Now, this is very nice to see also, because I saw this on the Cannondale bikes. The tire clearance has increased to 32 millimeters on disc frames and 28 millimeters for rim brake bikes. Now, you have heard me correctly, okay? Giant is still releasing rim brake bikes in 2021, so rim brakes are not dead. But disc, a lot of people are going towards disc, so disc is probably now the norm, where before disc was rare, now rim is rare. But they're still making rim brake bikes, which is good to see, I guess. Now the Advanced Pro disc, which is the tier below the most expensive tier, and the advanced disc frames are also updated. So this isn't only towards, Giant's most expensive, what the pros are riding, the SL versions. This is also for mid-tier and low tier as well. Now, as I said, the rim brake frames are all available for all these three levels. So whatever you see in the disc, you'll see also in rim brake versions as well. So the TCR Advanced SL disc is only compatible with electronic group sets, and that's to be expected because this bike is the same bike that the pros are using. So I guess Giant doesn't want to have to make it mechanically compatible as well. So they stick it with just electronic group sets. So I just want to add these following improvements to the quick rundown, and that's that Giant actually improved the fork. So now it has a symmetric design that's more arrow shaped, which improves with making it lighter, stiffer, and more aerodynamic. And also you can find the aerodynamic improvement also in the seat tube of the TCR. So it has an indent that helps with airflow around the rear tire. And because the fork has been reshaped, they also had to reshape the cockpit of the bike, which is the handlebar and stem. So in my opinion, I find that a little bit cleaner, and it's nice to see that they've made slight improvements for aerodynamics as well. So the thing that made me the most happy with the redesign for the 2021 TCRs with disc brake bikes in specific is that they actually put the brake cable hose through the fork. So in the video where I did cheap TCR versus expensive TCR, which I will link right now, they actually didn't do that for 2020, which was crazy because these frames are so expensive. You would hope that Giant would make it clean and like other companies go straight through the fork, but for whatever reason they didn't, and they had it cabled, twist tied to the fork, which I didn't think looked that clean. So finally now in the 2021 version, if you do get a disc brake TCR, you will have the brake cable housing go through the fork, which is a lot cleaner and a lot nicer in my opinion. So now guys, it's time to go in depth on all the 2021 models of the TCR on the Giant website. If you guys want to look for yourself, I will leave a link to this website down below. So after this video, you can check it out. And I just want to say thank you to everyone that's watching. If you can, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, because that really helps with me putting out more content like this. And with a larger audience, I could probably reach out to Giant and maybe get a 2021 version of the TCR and maybe compare it to my current 2020 TCR, or just make a video in general, giving a review of the bike or a first look or something regarding the 2021 TCR. So having you guys support the channel really helps with me potentially making those connections and getting better content out there. So if you guys can do that, I'd really appreciate it. So guys, we are on the Giant website, and we can see right off the bat, like I said, the brake hose goes right through the fork. That's what I like to see. And it's the Total Race bike, the all new TCR range. So right off the gun, it looks fast, it looks nice. Let's get into it. So without giving you guys too much of a history lesson, the TCR is probably one of the most important things to come out of cycling in terms of geometry for road bikes. I don't want to give you guys too detailed history lesson, but what TCR stands for is total compact road geometry in specific, which means they just made everything a lot tighter, a lot better. Whoever engineered it, I don't want to go into a full history lesson, but he's a genius. So basically the TCR is what every modern day road bike is probably modeled after, if not is. And you can just see over the years, the iterations have just been obviously better. And the last iteration we had, which is what my current TCR is modeled after, was done in 2017. So 2021, there's a new remodeling in terms of geometry. So it says right here, every bike in the 2021 TCR range was designed and engineered with the following 3 performance factors in mind. So that's class-leading efficiency, advanced aerodynamics, and total control, which I think are all 3 important factors whenever designing a bike. So Giant being the lead manufacturers that they are, they have it down to a science. So for class leading efficiency, what that usually means is that they're trying to make the bike more aerodynamic, but Giant states here that adding aerodynamic elements to a bicycle usually means adding more weight. So to keep what they're known for, which is the stiffness to weight ratio, which is how stiff your bike is compared to the weight, is very important. So in order to minimize the weight, they had to figure out through the production process how they can reduce the weight of the bike. So they say there's 4 state-of-the-art production processes that they use, and those are cutting edge composite materials. So I guess they're using Giant's own composite factory. So if you didn't know, Giant has its own carbon factory. So it's professional grade raw carbon materials woven in Giant's own composite factory to produce an even lighter, stiffer frame set than the previous generations. This material also uses carbon nanotube technology resin to improve impact resistance. So just better carbon fiber. So instead of using a machine to stamp out the carbon, they're using lasers, which makes it a lot more precise, so there isn't extra material being used in the frames. So that's really nice to see. So they also added advanced robotic layup assembly for important parts of the frame that need to be super exact and super, precise. So for finishing tech on the most expensive TCR, which is the TCR Advanced SL0 disc, they're using something called thin line paint, which saves about 50 grams on the overall weight of the frame, because usually it's a 7-part process for painting. So they save some weight on having a better paint. So in terms of advanced aerodynamics, you can see that they really went to town with the truncated ellipse tubing. I don't know if this is on other frame sets. I'm pretty sure it is, just might not be this significant because this is the TCR Advanced SL frame set, but we will check that in a second. And for component integration, they just made sure that the calipers for disc brakes are a lot cleaner, so it's a lot aerodynamic, so it's an improvement. Lastly, we're going to take a look at total control. So like I said, the disc brake integration, the new frame is engineered with updated flat mount disc brake technology for consistent braking power. So just a lot cleaner, which saves weight and also improves stiffness as well. So one thing I mentioned in the quick list is that the new fork design. So it's actually symmetrical now, and from the looks of it, it looks a little bit thinner in my opinion. So it says, without adding any weight compared to the fork on the previous generation TCR, frame and fork clearance has also been increased for all the new TCR models. So basically the improvements that Giant has made for the 2021 TCRs, I think are somewhat overdue. I think the TCR really deserved this at least in 2020. But it's about time they updated it. The fork, having the brake housing cable go through the fork was super important, and the slight aero improvements that they've made in terms of the tubing of the whole frame set, very important. You see this with other companies such as Cannondale and Specialized. So it was about time, because this isn't Giant's aero bike, right? Like they have the Propel, such as other companies that have a dedicated aero bike. But what we're seeing a lot more common nowadays is, even for the all-around bike, I would say TCR is an all-around climbing, just everything bike. They're putting flares of aerodynamics, because it's silly not to, if you can still keep the essence of what the TCR is known for, which is legendary all around. And if you can add some aero benefits, it just makes riding even better. So I'm very, very impressed with Giant's improvements. And that was like the in-depth rundown. And now we're just going to take a look at all the 6 models that they currently have listed. I just want to show you pictures and just see what I like about it and what maybe I don't like about it. So we're going to start off with the disc brake range, and we're going to go for the most expensive, which is the 2021 TCR Advanced SL disc. So let's look at that. So if you guys don't know, SL stands for super light. So this is the most expensive frame set that you could buy from Giant, and I really like how they go for the outline of the Giant logo right off the back. I really like it. Cadex, if you guys aren't familiar, is Giant's high-end componentry, which is a part of Giant, but it's not Giant branded, so it's Cadex. They have SRAM ETAP on it, so it looks really nice, and you can see symmetric fork that I was talking about, and you can also see, guys, how the stem shape is a lot different from the old TCRs. So it keeps the essence of the TCR. Like, this is not shocking. It's not like, what is this TCR? Like, I like it. I think the tubing is something I really want to see in person, because that is something that I will be very intrigued with. And you can see right here near the seat tube, they have the aero slide cut out to make it a little bit more aerodynamic. But I do like it. It looks very clean. I'm very minimalistic as an individual, so I like things that are clean. So I like this bike a lot. So here are some pictures of the bike. That looks really nice. I really like the black they chose. Now we're going to take a look at the TCR Advanced Pro Disc, which is usually the normal one that a lot of racers get, because they get the Ultegra Di2 with the dual-sided power meter, and it is Shimano, so I find that for the high-end stuff, everyone's going for ETAP, no wires at all, so Shimano has to step up the game in that aspect. But right off the bat, I really like how the SLR1 wheels don't have it in big letters. It's a lot cleaner. Like I said, I'm a minimalistic type of rider, type of guy, so I like things that look clean, and I really like the overall aesthetics of the bike. Very similar to the one we just looked at, just it's Shimano group set now, but the tubing looks really nice, and now it's actually growing on me, and you can see it's a little bit more distinct now on the seat tube. And I think they mentioned that because it's not an integrated seat post anymore, the shaping kind of changes, so you can see it's a little bit more prominent with the aerodynamic benefit you get on the cutout for the rear. So yeah, I really do like the tubing now. It's really growing on me, and let's see some pictures of that. So yeah, the rims look super nice. That looks super nice, and I love how the tire clearance now is 33. So if you want to put some a little bit meaty tires and get a little bit of that off-road gravel-ish riding in, you can do that now without feeling limited. So this part right here on the frame on the down tube is actually for the group sets being charged, and that's specifically for Shimano group sets, I'm assuming, or just having access to them, because for ETAP you don't even need that because everything's wireless. So they specifically made it for Shimano, and the reason why is because the World Tour team that they sponsor, CCC, actually uses Shimano, so it made sense. A lot of other teams do this. They also do it on Cannondale bikes, so very, very interesting. But I saw this in 2019 and was wondering why they don't have them on the 2020 bikes, because you would expect, as other companies, what you can buy, what the World Tour riders are actually riding, you should be able to buy. So now we finally see, and we'll have access to what they're riding. So yeah, I really like the tubing shape. Overall, very, very impressed. Not, like I said, not that big different, but slight improvements that do make the overall riding experience better. And let's see the last one, which is the TCR Advanced Disc, which is Ultegra, just with no Di2, and we see all the same features. The only thing that really changes between models is the group set. So even though I like Giant, I gotta be unbiased and share my thoughts. So I find it very interesting. So you see how right here I was telling you guys that's used primarily for the electronic group sets. So here we can see that because they wanted to keep the same frame as they have in the most expensive, because usually it goes like this, like when a company designs a frame, they want to have it for their their sponsor team. So if the sponsor team has a specific type of bike, they usually want to keep that essence and then just bring it lower and put different group sets on it for different prices. So on my bike, the housing goes on the side of the bike, where on this one it goes through where the charging is for the Shimano group set. So I don't think that looks primarily nice, and you especially have cable rub on the side, so I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that. I think it would take some getting used to, but I do not like that. But I understand they wanted to keep the same frame that they use on the Di2 version, which is the electronic group set. But for people that are running mechanical, I'm not a big fan of how that is shaped. It should go through the frame differently on the sides, and then run down the down tube. So not a fan. So for the 2021 TCR models, if you do plan on getting one and you get an electronic group set, you know, it will look very clean. I'm just not a big fan of how it goes into the down tube on the mechanical one. So it is what it is. But if you go for an electronic, it's going to look nice. It's going to look clean. So now it's time to look at all the 3 models for the rim brake versions. And yes, you've heard it. I already said this. Rim brake is not dead. However, disc has taken over, but rim brakes and the conservation of rim brakes is still going strong. So let's look at all 3 models. So the first one is we have the TCR Advanced SL. So it looks, you know, these frames are the exact same as the disc brake. The only thing that's changing is that it's rim brake now, and it has a different group set on it. So you don't get Di2 with this, but you do get the super light frame, but you're getting Ultegra with a power meter. So that's the trade-off here. But other than that, looks pretty much very similar to the disc brake one. And there they go again, putting the cables through the down tube. So it does not look that clean in my opinion. I do like the new stem. That looks nice. And the Giant handlebar tape is amazing. I'm a big fan, and I'm trying to figure out once I wear through mine, I want to get some new fresh handlebar tape. I like the design and just the feel of it. I had to put that in there. But yeah, I would have to get used to it, but so far I don't like how it goes through the down tube. Now, let's look at the TCR Advanced Pro rim brake version. Ooh! I had to give a big ooh. I really like that color. Black, and it has like a metallic silver Giant logo. So that's Ultegra with a power meter, mechanical. So the only thing that's different from this one and the one we just saw is that it's not an integrated seat post, so it's not a one piece, and it's not super light. So still a very nice looking bike. And yeah, I have to get used to the cables going through the down tube. I usually like it when it goes through the side, because then you have that part of the bike clean looking. But like I said, they had to do it for the more expensive version of the TCR, so it trickles down from the electronic group sets to the mechanical group sets. And like I said, I like the SLR1 rims. It looks a lot cleaner. So that's a really nice looking bike. I can't complain. And lastly, we have the TCR Advance, which is basically a tier up from what I'm riding. So I'm riding basically similar geometry, just I have 105 on mine. They have Ultegra. So this is mechanical Ultegra, and that's the classic, my favorite paint job is just black and white. So I really like that. It reminds me of the World Tour CCC team bike. So that's really nice to see. And let's just see some other pictures of it. Oh, they have it in white. And this is the 105 model. So this is the similar model that I have. And the TCR logo is smaller. That was what the World Tour riders were riding. And yeah, you can see the arrow on the seat tube. So there you guys have it. That's the quick look and in-depth look of the new 2021 Giant TCRs. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I hope to get my hands on one of these bikes, hopefully either disc or rim or just a model in general. So if you guys can like this video and subscribe and comment and just get the engagement going and help grow the channel, then I can start reaching out to not only Giant but other companies and get products and give you guys first looks and reviews, because that's how I want this channel to grow, is just showing you guys as much cycling content as I can. So if you guys can do that, it'd be much appreciated. And comment anything else that you guys want to see. I've lots of time to film videos and make more content for you guys, so I'm always eager for that. And until the next one, keep on pedaling.